Oish base. So the Alter Rebbe discussed it over here before that when there is bittul hayesh, it makes a rash, it makes a lot of noise, because and he explained the difference between the srofim v'fanim v'chayis hakodesh, because in the level of atzilus, where there is bittul, where there is a sof, they have a hasoga, so then they're grasping it. They're not in a way of cheliyater. It's not like a balshuva, which comes with a lot of force. But when it comes down to the level of bria and yitzira, when it comes down to the level of yitzira, where the chayis and the fanei hakodesh, over there they don't have that gilui. So over there it comes with a strong noise, and that's why there's a level of bittul. So he says once that's the sarusa de latato. That's the rash. Rash is the noise. Rash is the same spelling as the word sar or shar, with a sin or a shin, which basically is going to mostly explain the idea of sar, to bring down, that through this bittul hayesh, we bring down, the rash brings down the level of sar. The level of sar means a very, very high level that can only come down in a way of sar. That's the level of tainug. And the level of tainug that comes into chokhmah, which is Torah, is chokhmah nafkes. So basically, the yid breaks up the Torah because he brings the level of tainug into the Torah, as he's going to explain. So let's learn inside. It's basically the theme that we've learned in these Mamorim of what's accomplished. The Sarusa de Latata brings about the higher level into, and that is the idea of Leman Tizkiru or Zchartem, to make the mitzvahs in a level of mashpia instead of being a mekabel. Base. Hine, the Sarusa de Latata, through the arousal of below b'chinas rash, in a level of noise, nimshach milamaylo sar, comes from above comes sar, or shina ayin reish. He says v'yesh shar b'shin yamin. There is a shar with a shin, which is the right side, because a shin, the dot is on the right side. V'yesh sar b'smoil. There is sar with the left side. So what are the two things? Shar b'yamin hainu k'meshekosu v'zah shar l'Hashem. The right shin with the shin, that is like a gate. This is the gate to Hashem. Ub'smoil hu k'meshekosu v'sar reishay kamar nekei. Like the smell is like the hear. It says in Daniel over there that he saw the vision of Hashem, that the hair of his head was like clean wool. So the idea is over there the level of sar, the level of here. He's going to explain the rest of the beginning here, all the level of sin. Later on, he'll just tell you also that's also a level of a shar, a level of a gate. But right now, first he's going to explain the level of the sar. What does it mean when we say here? What is the idea of a here? A here represents a tremendous tzimtzum, a tremendous distance from the place where it comes from, because the sar on one hand is connected to the brains, and yet when it's connected there, but yet when you cut it off, it's doesn't hurt the person, meaning that it's a connection, is a very far connection. Hamshocha that comes from a sar means, yes, it's connected in a high, but it's very far away. Pirush al derech moshel. Say by example, hasayda is like the here, shigidulam hu min hamoyach, they grow from the moyach. Aval hu ha'orech hitzoniyis mimenu, but it's merely an external ray. When this here gets cut, you don't feel it. The moyach doesn't feel it. That means it's very far. Also, Torah we call Cyrus. Where do we find the Torah called Cyrus? The pasuk says "Kvutzoisov tal talim." Basically means that his the braids are made of piles and piles. So the Gemara translates it that tilim shalalochas. It says about Rabbi Akiva. It says they would say piles and piles of halachas. I mean, the hair were piled up like that. Nice. So this, but why? So we see that the Torah is connected to tilim, to hear. So why is it called the hear? Because the way the connection with the Esof is so far like a hear. Eraisa comes from Chochma. So which means the Chochma that Atzilus basically is the level of Torah. That's Hashem's wisdom. Chochma of Atzilus. Within Chochma lies the level of delight, lies the level of Tainug, from Keser, from higher. So V'amshocha ma'oinag ha'elyin mokir kol hatanugim. This Hamshocha, this that comes from the supreme delight, which is the source of all Tanugim, is Nikrosar. So that's called Cider. That's called Cider. So this Hamshocha, why? Because the source of Tainug is from the essence, blessed essence. And therefore, Hamshocha from Tainug into Torah is called a Cider. It's not by way of example, like a delight that a person below, the person delights, enjoys from an item from which he receives the tainug. So there is it's not the thing itself is tainug. You receive something which causes you tainug. Even the delight of the neshamas in the world to come. In Gan Eden. They enjoy and they receive a tainug from the Rei of the Shechina Chulu. So there is something from which they become tainug. But when we talk about tainug of Hashem's tainug, the tainug of above, which comes down to Torah, but the tainug of above, there is nothing besides Hashem. So it's not like tainug, Hashem is delighting from something else. The tainug that we're talking about, the tainug Elyon, tainug of Hashem, the tainug of the Supreme is not from something else, because Hu Amaduchulu, because he is the Madhu idea that Rambam says it's all Hashem. So the tainug which is in Hashem, in the Atzmus, Hainu B'chinas Atzmus HaTainug. That is the essence of Tainug. Shu Atzmus B'chinas Tainug. He himself is Tainug. Not that there's something else that gives him Tainug, but he himself is Tainug. This is called the source of Tainugim. Because that's the source of all the pleasures of below. Okay, so we're saying this is a much greater level of Tainug, right? More than any other Tainug, because this is the Eibishter himself. This is the Tainug, because you can't separate the Tainug. It's not another additional thing. But in that case, how do we bring down such a Tainug into Torah? We're saying this is the Tainug of Hashem. Can you read me the word over there? Is it with a regular mem or with a it's not a mem sofis. A regular mem with apostrophe over it. But I don't understand it. Simtum shemisamtsem mim, or I don't know, plural shemisamtsem. Usually it's a singular. Simtum shemisamtsem or shemisamtsem mim would be, but it's not a plural there. Hatainu. Anyways. So that delight to bring down a Torah. How do we bring down this delight of the Tainug of Atzmus? This is what's called the level of Sidus. Similar to the contraction of the Chayes of the Moichin in the Sidus, that's how it comes down. This is also the Tainug of the Neshamas in Gan Eden. is that that level of tainuk that also comes from the understanding of Torah. As it's known, in the lower level of Gan Eden, that in the lower level of Gan Eden, we learn the inner of the Torah, which is revealed to us. That's the secrets of the secret. So that's either the secret or the secret. This is all the level of Saresha. In the pasuk over there by Daniel, he says, Levushe kitlag chiver, his garment was like white snow. The Saresha kamar nekei, and the hair of his head was like clean wool. So he teaches over here, the Saresha kamar nekei is a reference to Torah. Because Torah is the level of Sar, because like he says, that's the level of Tainuk. And that comes down through the level of Sar in Torah. But Levushik it like chiver, that his garment is like white snow, that refers to the level of mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are levushim. The level of levushim cannot even come down, even through Cyrus. It doesn't come down. That is the etzem, the mokir of the Tainuk that cannot be revealed. Only way to get the mitzvahs is that's why it comes down b'gashmis. Because after the physical, the lowest of the levels, you can connect to the higher level. Even through Torah, you can't connect to that, but only through mitzvahs, because mitzvahs that come down to the lower level, b'maiseh, that can connect to that's the level of levush kitlat. Mitzvahs, shem yesanailas, mitzvahs which are even on a higher level. What means yesanailas? The hainu shenim shochim. Ma'atzmis hatainuk, they come from the essence of tainuk. Shalamaylo migilu hatainuk hamisamtzem alidei Cyrus, which is even higher than the revelation of tainuk that can be contracted through Cyrus. The mitzvahs cannot be in mitzvah nimshich and chokhmah. There's no logic. There's no seichel over there. That's the level of Torah. That's higher than that. Moshe Kosu, the Torah says you should serve Hashem b'roiv koil. Reiv koil means more than all. What is koil? Pirush, the service of Hashem is l'maylo metainug ha'eliki. This is even higher than the godly delight, Gan Eden Elyon, which is Gan Eden Elyon. Why? Shubchinas tzimtzum. But still, Gan Eden Elyon comes through a level of tzimtzum, because we say biyud nivra ha'olam haba. Yud Ke Hashem Tzuri Lamim. The Gemara says that the Yud created the Olam Haba, so there's a tzimtzum for Olam Haba. Masha'en came when we talk about mitzvahs, it comes from the higher level. It comes from the Atzmiyus HaTainuk. I must cause was the B'divra Maschil Meneiros of Kula, B'divra Maschil V'ata Tetzav B'nei Yisrael. And Ba'alei Moshe Nemar, with regard to them, it says the pasuk Levushe Kitlag Chiber, that his garment is like white snow. Kenoida. Mitzvahs, the kroim, the bush, mitzvahs are called garments. Why is mitzvahs called garment? Pirush, al derech moshel. Just like halavush, mailim, masteris, odom, boy, that it blocks and hides the person that is dresses up, that covers and blocks him. Kach shirish mitzvahs, umilchinas moker hatanugi. The root of the mitzvahs comes from the source of the tanug. Shu b'chinas helem, that is a level of hidden, obscure. It cannot be revealed. That's why it's a garment. It's a hid. It's a block. It's a cover. But that source does extend, does come down through mitzvahs that we do in Maisa. Mitzvahs the 613 Torah commandments. If you add the 7 rabbinic mitzvahs, oile tofresh chov comes to 620, which is the level of keser. Tofresh chov is keser. Ve'hem tofresh chov amudei oir, and they are the 620 pillars of light. Al derech moshul ha'amud shemechaber. They become pillars of light. It's like a post which connects the top and the bottom. So the mitzvah are the posts. They are the vehicle to connect the top, which is the atzmis hatainuk, with the bottom in the ma'aseh. Behainu, why is the mitzvahs do that? Mishum the note soifam mitchilosa, because the end, the end is tied into the beginning. Vayidei kiyum hamaisa, through observing of the action, yichaylim lahamshich v'mokar hatanugim, we are able to draw down from the source of the delight. Shuhu masha einim mizgala b'chokhmah. That is what is not revealed through chokhmah. You can bring that down as well. And this is also the idea he wants to bring down, that we see that the Gashmis has a power to accomplish more than even the Ruchnis. And that's why to atone for a person, you bring a physical carbon, and the carbon sort of atones for the person. The Gashmis, so inyan ha-korbanos. This is the idea of the korbanos. Shakrovas behema Gashmis, the offering of a physical animal, mechaper al chet ha'odam, that would atone for the sin of man. Like it says, Adam ubehema tashia Hashem, that a person, together with the behemoth, with the carbon, Hashem will help. Another verse it says, uksiv, there's another verse that states, Behem heviu as korbanon lifnei Hashem. They brought the carbon before Hashem. So he says like this: the carbon has to be brought lifnei Hashem. In other words, the carbon goes beyond the Shem Hashem, because kichelek Hashem Mamer, because the people, the Yidden, are part of Hashem. That's Yud Kei Vav Kei. So, when a person blemishes and sins, then you blemish the name of Hashem, because you are part of Hashem. So you are Shem Hashem. What does it mean? How do you blemish the Shem Hashem? Ki Havaya Hainu Shem Mahaber. Because Havaya means Hashem creates everything. And when you sin, you draw down the chayis of the Mahaber to an inappropriate place. So, what you did was, since you are part of Havaya, and you take an Avera, so you're bringing down the chayis into the wrong places. So now we have to fix it. So you have to go lifnei Havaya to fix it before Hashem. What is it for higher than Havaya? That's the 13 attributes of mercy. You give Mitzarachim. Shem Yud Gimel Mitzarachim, which is Noisa Avim Chulu. So, what are we basically doing when we're getting an atonement? We got to reach into the higher of Chochmah, to the level of Keser, to the level of the Yud Gimel Mitzarachim. How do we do that? For that, we need a korban. Korban is a gashmistic animal. So it shows you no seif mitichlosim, that after through the gashmis you get to Lifnei Havaya. You cannot draw down and arouse this level. You must bring. You cannot do it without bringing a physical animal. It's known, we have a rule. That whatever is higher, on a higher level, when it descends, when it falls, when it's lowered, it goes down even lower. Likewise, when you take a look at the behema, which is below, it's on a lower level than the person, because the person is level of medaber. But so that points, that means that the root of the behema is higher in its root above. Because it felt it below through the shilas hakeli. So behind it, what it means is like this: the behema is lower than das, but it comes from higher than das. The person is the level of das, but the behemoth goes less than das. There's no das, but it comes from higher level. So therefore, when you bring it on the Mizbeach, that's why they've said in the Pasuk that he brought down before that it's Lifnei Havaya. They bring it in the high level of Havaya to be Mamshech. And the same thing is true by tzedakah. It's a physical act, but that physical act reaches into the highest of levels. We came with tzedakah ksiv. So there it says the act of tzedakah is peace. The act of peace means that you're bringing down from a level of higher than hishtalshelus. Because when you have conflict, that's within the confines, which is each one's limitations. So there is conflict over there because each one has their own, like even Machoel and Gabriel, the Sar Shalesh, Sar Shamayim, water, fire. But when when Hashem comes down, when the higher level comes down, the conflict is resolved. There's no conflict over there. Why? Because from a higher place, it's beyond both of them. Inyan HaSholem Yedua, what is the idea of Shalom? It's known in Inyan. Hashem makes peace in those who are higher. Who is Bimreimo? The officer in charge of water, the officer in charge. But they don't extinguish or dry each other out. The Hainu. That through the revealing of a ray that's above Ishtalshlus. The truth is, likewise, Kol Mashpiu Mekabel. Whenever you have somebody giving and somebody receiving, those are opposite. And through the tzedakah you make shalom. In the above, which means in the heavenly, the malachim, and also below, the mashpia and the mekabel. So now, okay, so this is a garment, but why is mitzvahs called like white snow? Okay, it's a garment. It's a garment that brings down, it hides, it covers, but it comes from the high level. But why white snow? So he says it's like snow, which all of the mitzvahs together, it's just like snow, falls little pieces, and then it freezes, it becomes one piece. All the little mitzvahs, all the little tzedakahs become together. So what does it mean, like snow? Hashelik is by way of example of snow. It's from pieces that you gather together. It freezes a little bit at a time, till it becomes a lot. Likewise, by tzedakah, ksiv, by yilbash tzedakah chulu. So there it says he put up tzedakah like a Syrian. That's one of the letters in the Igeres HaKodesh. That like a shield, like they wear. So it's made up of little kaskasim, little pieces, and together it becomes a whole garment, a protective garment. So we say by tzedakah, kol pruta pruta b'tzterefes l'cheshbon gadol, all pruta, every coin and coin gathers together, combines, adds up to a big cheshbon. Chein hu b'chol hamitzvos ma'asiyos. Likewise, it's with all the mitzvahs in action. She'mikama b'yachad nasa levush echad. From a lot of mitzvahs makes one garment. V'hu al derech moshe al levush shu mekama chatichas beged. It's like the garment, which is made up from several pieces of garment, together makes one garment. Gimel. So now he's going to say tzitzis is a special mitzvah because tzitzis has both. It has side the makif, which is the garment itself. That's the levush. You wear a garment, but it also have the tzitzis. The tzitzis represent the pnimius. That represents the level of Torah, which comes inside, like the level of Chacham. In the mitzvah tzitzis, hishkulo keneged kol mitzvahs. The mitzvah tzitzis is equal to all mitzvahs. Why? We find the mitzvahs has all mitzvahs. As it's known, how does it equal? Because the tzitzis, the word tzitzis, the gematria tofresh, it equals 600. So you have tzaddik yud 9, tzaddik is 90, yud is 100, 2 times 100, tzitzis. And the sof is 6, is 4, is 600. So on top of the 600, you have the ches chutim, you have the 8 string. Each tzitza has 8 strands, and the hek shorim, and then you have the 5. So you have another 13. That's how you have the 630 tariyag. So why is Zepp's tzitzis chosen as the mitzvah to represent all the mitzvahs? Why is it equal to all the mitzvahs? Is because tzitzis has both aspects. It has the aspect of the mitzvah. It also has the aspect of primis. But inyan ki b'tzitzis yesh beis b'chinas hanal. It has both b'chinas. It's levushe ki kitlag chiver, and also v'saresha. Ki hatalis atzmoi prisa de malka, because the talis itself is the spread of the king. That's the level of levush. Brings down an interesting marsha on the Gemara Chidush HaGodes. It says, "In Perek Hamid Rishon of Yudzayin of Beis," the Gemara says over there, it says, "Vayaber Hashem al ponov vayikra." Hashem wrapped himself up, like a talus, with a talus, like a chazan. Malamed, says the Gemara over there, "Shenisatev HaKadosh Baruch Hu kishliach tzibur." Hashem wrapped himself like a shliach tzibur. Kosav Maharsho b'Chidush HaGodes. So the Marsha over there in the Chidush HaGodes, that's one section of the Marsha. It's called the Chidush HaLoches, where he talks, when it doesn't talk about the Drush, and then the other section is called Chidush HaGodes. So what he writes is like this: Ubesefer Yoshon Mechochmos HaMekubolim Motzosi. I found in an old sefer from the Mekubolim, it says there, this Atev HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'oisu talis levana. Hashem wrapped himself around, and that white talus, shenis Atev b'briyosah shel olam, in which he wrapped up when he created the world. Sholom Nemer, because the pasuk says, Oita oir kasalmo, that he wrapped himself with a garment. He wrapped himself with light like a garment. Shemavik musev olam atzevin chulu atkan l'shoyne, that shines from one end of the world to the other one. Atkan l'shoyne. It's an amazing piece. First of all, the Rebbe to bring down a Marsha, but it's also amazing how the Marsha brings down from the Mekubolim, explaining the Gemara, the Chidush HaGodes over there. So, b'ayim ha'shekos b'teir b'biur ha'posik yaviu levush malchus. B'ayim ha'shekos me'inyan levush gitlag b'biur ha'posik b'yoyim hazeh yichaper. So, that's the part of the levush. That's the levush. Then we have the tzitzis. But tzitzis begin as sidus. Those are the level of sidus. Because ki lamed beis chutim, hem lamed beis nesivus ha-chochma. The 32 chochma, the 32 passive chochma. That's 32, the number 32. 32 is because you have 4 tzitzis times 8 is 32. Pirush. So here it's already the level of chochma, the level of revelation. That's the level of Torah that we learned before. Hasoga, Pnimis, Pirush Haderech Moshel Hanesiv. What does Hanesiv? It's by like a path. So through which you go from place to place. So what does it mean? The 32 passages of Chochmah. So above you have these passageways. In the flow of Tainuk came to Chochmah. Those are the Sidus al Yenus we learned before that they get from the level of the Tainuk. Who can now be in Saresh Chula, as we said before, by Sareshus. So he says, this is why it says by tzitzis, Lamad Tiskiru Vasisam, so that you will become, remember, he says, become male, and you will make it. So what does it mean? So that here he's saying the Yidden should become males, meaning become mashpiyim. Don't be females, just recipients, but be males, be mashpiyim. because the Yid, through his avodah, will become a mashpi because he brings down the level of Tainug in Chochmah. Pirush. Shetiyu b'bchinas dechar. So that you will become Zucharim. So b'chinas mashpia. Kibloizeh, without this work, we're considered, we're the wife. We are the recipient. As it says, Vel Ishech Chukosach. We, our yearning is to Hashem. But through this avodah, you become a tiskir, you become a zochar. That you will bring down the Ein Sof in Torah. Mamer as the sages tell us, blessed memory said the pasuk, Torah tziva lonu Moshe moirasha chulu. Moshe has told us the Torah, which is an inheritance. So they teach al tikri moirasha. Don't say ela moirasa, meaning betrothed. So now the Torah is what? The Torah becomes the wife. She becomes the betrothed. And we become the husband. Torah nikras kalo. The Torah is called the kalo. So we are giving something to the Torah. But Torah nikra bal Torah. You call it about a master of Torah. But the word bal means a husband. We become the husband of the Torah. Why? Because we're mashpia to Torah. We bring down the level of tainuk in Torah. So we become the bal. Mamer hazoyer. The Zohar calls them mori deraisa, the masters of Torah, the bal of Torah. It's a sefer called the Ma'ina Chochma. So it says, David HaMelech Olav HaSholem and Mechaber Torah Shel Mailo in Kutchabricho. That David HaMelech, peace unto him, he would connect the Torah above with Hashem. What did it mean? He connected with Hashem, the Torah. Shoya Mamshich, how did he connect? Shoya Mamshich Hashros Erisov B'Chochma. He would bring down the Ein Sof Chochmah. That means he connected it. V'zeu Pirush, and this is the meaning when you say Oisik b'Torah l'shma. What does it mean? You're learning Torah l'shma. You're learning Torah for the sake of Torah to bring down the Ein Sof in Torah. For the sake of Torah. In other words, you're giving something to Torah. You're bringing down the Ein Sof, the Tainuk, into Torah. Ba'ainu al derech hanal binyan rash v'sar shemubchinas rash naase sar. That's from the rash becomes a sar. But then also v'yesh shar b'yimin. There's also a shar on the right. That's when the dot becomes a shin. Zeh shar lashem l'knisa v'yitzia. That goes in and out. What does it mean? It becomes in and out. The king himself goes out and is revealed. That's an entrance. These are the two things of Smoil Tachas L'Roshi, Yemin Techabkeni. B'ayim HaShekosu b'Parshas Miketz, Gabe'inya Mezuzah Mimin V'Nerchanika Mismoil. So over there he also talks about the mezuzah at the right and this left. So we're talking about the shar and the sar. So over there he explains mezuzah ibchinas hamitzvahs. That's biyamin. That's at the right side. That is like the gate, which is in the right, because we said the king goes in and out. It's over there. That's like the level of mitzvahs. And Ner Chanukah and Ner Chanukah is bringing down Torah. B'Yisrael. Zokiyin v'sareishes shusar b'Shmuel b'ayim hashekos b'bira b'mayim razal b'shosh yikdim Yisrael nasa nishma chulu. Okay, leave it over here.